guys, what's going on? It's your boy, Big Blue Drew 97 here to talk to you about Nanatsu no Taizai Manga Chapter 325, titled Those Who Resist. And when it comes to basically this chapter, not a whole lot happens. What primarily happens is that we finally get, again, the 7 Deadly Sins coming together to fight against the Demon King. If anything, we get more of like what we probably wanted the first time they fought the Demon King. Because the first time they fought him, it was a slaughter fest. Like, you had Bond just come in out of nowhere and decimate him, and then everyone just throws in one major attack to end him. But for this one, I think it's more going to be a group effort. And this is basically personified in the first page, which is the cover page for it, where you have the entirety of the 7 Deadly Sins, like, just looking menacing and looking like we're about to kill somebody, in a way. Even though they're not going to kill the Demon King yet, because, you know, they still have Meliodas' brother and his Zoldytr's still in there. So they can't kill him, but they all just have expressions of like, oh yeah, we're about to go into battle, and we're about to wreck stuff. Because you have like Meliodas, then you have Meliodas who's like in the forefront, and then you have Gother, you have Bond, you have Escanor in there as well, Meliodas, King, Diane, you have all of them there, and they're all like facing the direction of the Demon King for the most part. So yeah, but before we even get into that, we're gonna go back to the capital of the kingdom, where the king lives, and we're gonna see the entire place just in destruction. You have basically tornadoes going all the way up to the sky. Lightning is hitting the ground, and then you have Little Hauser, who's basically like the Holy Knight like leader, basically like making sure that like everything goes okay. Henderson and Dreyfus are apparently in smaller towns, and Hauser is just taking all this responsibility, and he's like, oh my goodness. But he's like, okay guys, don't worry, the 7 Deadly Sins got this, and they're gonna destroy the Demon King. And then we have an immediate cut to Bond, Escanor, and King going up against the Demon King, and then literally having their attacks thrown back into them in a fit of explosion. So yeah, the Demon King's power is just like, come at me, bro. Boom! No, you can't. So basically, just threw all of their attack power back at them. And it shows, because it shows all of them having some form of injury on them. They have King with a little bit of scratch on his face, as well as like Bond with like, actually like a little bit of blood on here, and then Escanor is just like blood on, like a little bit of blood's on his face, as well as like a cut on his pecs. So yeah, they're taking damage, and like everyone is like, oh my goodness, like everyone just has this like expression of, oh no. But then Elizabeth's like, yo, let down the barrier, talking to Merlin. And Merlin's like, what? You know, like the king's curse is active. And I'm like, oh yeah, I guess the king's curse is still active because they still haven't defeated him. But I'm like, what are the chances that that's just gonna come into effect? Like, it's not like they're in like a dangerous place where, like, I don't know, Elizabeth's gonna be shot into the air and then struck by lightning or anything like that. And it's not like literally the earth around them is crushing them. I mean, this is a manga, like, stuff like that just doesn't come into effect, right? Right, yeah, so that, yeah, obviously. So Merlin's just thinking like, yo, I can't do this, but like, if you really want to, okay. So she lets down the barrier, and as soon as she does that, Elizabeth basically heals up all 3 of them. Heals up Bond, heals up King, heals up Escanor, and then they're like, and Bond immediately is like, what are you doing? He's like, and then Elizabeth's like, focus on the fight. And as soon as like Bond turns his back, the Demon King's like, oh, I got you. Ha ha ha, you forgot that Escanor's in this fight. Escanor comes in and just rams into the Demon King. Like, he doesn't use his sacred spear, his sacred sword. It's like he is the sacred shield, and he uses the shield to attack. So he just runs into the Demon King. And then yeah, everything just seems hunky-dory. King comes in for another attack. Bond comes in for another attack. The Demon King just looks miffled. And it's like, yo, it's like, and then they start realizing, it's like, yo, the Demon King isn't taking damage, and we're literally on a lake that keeps providing him magic. And like, with this, as well as like basically because there are two demon kings in this world, they're gonna destroy Britannia, and everyone's like, and it's like some type of divine intervention. A whirlpool appears under Elizabeth, and then a huge lightning bolt is about to strike her. So yeah, the Demon King's curse is still active, and I will say this: in a situation like this, like a plot point like that rarely comes into effect and during like the end game of the story. It's like, oh yeah, they have this curse. Normally the curse doesn't like rear its head until like the last possible moment. Hence the first time this happened. But we also have to remember that Meliodas should be free and should be active right about now. Because as soon as like we see the lightning go back to the air, everyone's like, Elizabeth, like the DB Kings is like, reflected thunder? Well, technically it's lightning, but it's alright, Demon King, you've been away for a while. Like, it's understand. Oh, and then he gets slashed. So yeah, basically Meliodas just redirects the lightning because that is his ability to reflect things, as well as just send a slash at the Demon King. And like the Demon King, it's like, it looks like he's being pushed back. And then as we see Meliodas just there, and he's like, and then like literally Bond, King, and Escanor just make like a snarky comment. It's like, you're early. King is like, and that's Bond. King is like, well, I guess things went well. And then Escanor is like, shall we begin? I'm like, okay, that's pretty cool. So yeah, Meliodas is back, and now it's about to be a fight of the 7 deadly sins. 7 deadly sins, full force, versus the Demon King. And everyone is basically getting hyped. The only other person that really isn't in it right now is Diane. And that's because she's always had problems like thinking that, oh yeah, she's not strong, and that she wants to protect people, especially Elizabeth. But at this moment, like, Elizabeth has been protecting her, and she thinks that she's pathetic. But normally when people think this stuff, they're about to do something extremely bad-ash. So, what does she do? She asks Merlin to revert her back to her original size. And then we get Best Girl Diane, Lord Diane. I love Diane when she is back to her giant size. I mean, I like small Diane. She's cute. But big Diane is amazing. And she shows how amazing she's about to be by dancing in the middle of battle. But if we remember correctly, when giants start to dance, that's basically them gathering power from the earth. And the Demon King recognizes this and immediately sends an attack that looks like a dark... looks like a dark sperm, yeah, it's dark sperm, yeah, that's exactly what it looks like. But luckily enough, King just deflects it, destroys it before it even comes to her, and Diane is just doing all of this. And there's a small thing where she's basically asking Droll, who, if I remember correctly, is like, who used to be the giant king, for power to protect everyone that she loves. And then the final panel of this chapter is Diane screaming and saying, Mother Creation, creation of the earth. And then it cuts off there. I don't know what creation of the earth is going to be, but it's probably going to be this just big off one massive attack of earth, just ramming at the Demon King. And the Demon King's gonna barely be able to deflect it. And as soon as he does, all of the sins are just gonna run in for like one great attack. So yeah, but yeah, that's the end of the chapter. Overall, this is like, I would say it's really an average chapter. If I were to give it the score, I'd actually give it a 3. But that's mainly because like, not like a whole lot of impactful things happened. I mean, sure, Meliodas came back, but yeah, we knew he was gonna come back. Like the 7 Deadly Sins are fighting the Demon King, and like, it's not really them fighting right now, it's them preparing to go all out. So yeah, this isn't really the final battle yet. If anything, the final battle is probably going to start in the next chapter with the 7 Deadly Sins, all of them going up against the Demon King. Because I feel as if like, this final fight has to involve literally everyone. Like it has to involve, and I think that even with like the final battle, it's still not approaching to its end. It's ending, but it hasn't like reached like the pinnacle yet. We will reach the pinnacle of this fight when we see Meliodas, the Seven Deadly Sins, Bond, Escanor, King, Merlin, Gother. When we see all of them performing like their like massive attacks against the Demon King. But then we also have to remember the Vampire Queen. She has to do something, as well as the King of Camelot. He has to come back. And if he doesn't come back, I'm going to actually be really surprised, because it means that, oh, he's dead and the sword is stuck in his body, which, okay, that's just, I guess that kind of makes sense. But yeah, overall, this is a very average chapter. Probably the best thing that probably happened was like the fact that like the Demon King's curse is still active, but like realistically speaking, even if like we knew it was coming, like we knew that Meliodas was going to save her because he's done it before and he will protect his love. So yeah, overall, like I said, average chapter, not anything to like really write home about, but I still enjoyed it. I still enjoyed the Seven Deadly Sins. I'm still going to be reading the manga until it ends because it's really good. So hopefully y'all enjoyed this review. Hopefully you'll be able to come back next week to watch this review again, and hopefully I'll be able to see you there, and y'all have a good one. Goodbye for now.